Hello, I'm here to drop in with all of you. It's the small hours here just outside of Detroit, 4:33 in the morning, to be exact. And I've just been sinking in and kind of luxuriating in this new moon energy, this Sagittarius stellium new moon. This is a pretty potent lunar cycle that we're entering into, and we're going to really be feeling the effects of this over the next 4 weeks. And the first 2 weeks of this cycle are the best time to set your intentions. And I did prepare a candle that I'm going to light while I sink in with you and we kind of explore these energies that are coming onto our path now that we're heading into this particular lunar cycle. And happy, happy solar return to all the Sages out there. I love Sagittarius energy. I have a Sagittarius stellium myself in my chart. So I really resonate with this energy. I'm so ready for the expansion to come in and for things to feel more open and more free. And I think that that'll be just such a relief, right? After all this heavy, kind of sloggy energy that we've been moving through. We're not quite done yet though, okay? Because we're really in the meat of that great black conjunction sandwich right now. And it is going to get meaty. This is a very um, positive lunar cycle, okay, with that Jupiter blessing energy, especially with the backing of the Mercury conjunct Venus action we got going on, and that Jupiter uh, is trying the moon. So, this really amplifies the Jupiter energy. Now, Jupiter did station direct. Okay, it stationed direct about 5 minutes after new moon, which was about 10 hours ago. We're a little ways into this energy now. It's starting to build and it will continue to build to a really big culmination point actually on November 30th with that great black conjunction. Okay, so that's when the lights are really coming on in the room, right? And we have an alignment that occurs between the next steps we need to take on our path and the spiritual guidance, the intuition that's coming in. It's going to be a really interesting time because everything is going to be revealed to you on the more subtle layers right now. So listening is increasing, but there is something coming forward front and center with this particular lunar cycle, and that is the area of communication. So where things have been really blocked, where words been held back, where feelings you've had have been contained and pressurized. You're going to find these things really wanting to come up and out. And there will be other people around you that are going to want things to come up and out. So if you've been dealing with any kind of, communication blocks, if you've been dealing with somebody who's like gone cold on you, if um, you've been feeling really confused, but haven't even been able to really formulate your thoughts to get, an important communication going. I mean, these are all kinds of themes that are on the table. And there's the piece of people now being ready to kind of move out of that Scorpio energy, out of the subconscious depths and all that integrative work we've been doing, moving out of that energy of that kind of like Persephone dive, that Persephone dive. And it's interesting, I came across this particular image and it really feels like almost like an archetypal energy for what's in play with this lunar cycle. And this is by this wonderful artist, Caitlin McCarthy, okay? I received this as a gift. It came with a gift I received from this artist. And she does have an Etsy. I'm not affiliated with her in any way, but I just want to give her due credit. Caitlin McCarthy Art, Etsy.com, okay? You want to check out her stuff. But this so perfectly captures the energy in play right now. You notice we got the 3 arrows, and this really evokes the 3 of swords for me. It's the wound that we've been working through while we've been in that Scorpio South node, and we're in the process of really elevating, rising, like Persephone did after she danced the dance of the 7 veils and shed her illusions and laid herself bare and discovered the love within herself and was able to rise out of that consciousness, rise out of that place of spending that time in the dark and gaining the wisdom there to become core in the spring, or depending on the tradition you're looking at, it's the same journey of Ishtar that then rose as Inanna, queen of the heavens. And this is what this crown is reminding me of. It's reminding me of that same ascent that follows the descent. And that's what we're moving into right now. We're moving from the descent of the Scorpio South node into the ascent of the Taurus North node. And that's when we begin to actually see everything that's been happening on the inner planes of our being, everything that's been happening on an alchemical level come to the surface and be seen in the path that forms before us. So it's a really important point, and you're going to have so much guidance coming in. There's a lot of psychic expansion going on right now in this period of this great black conjunction. That's what it's about. It's about awakening to the more subtle levels of communication. And this awakening to more subtle levels of communication is going to be so empowering in what's coming in, which is about reconnection. It's about reunion in some cases with people from your past. In other cases, it's reunion with soul family. It's reunion with parts of yourself that you've been divorced from for a long time. It's that integration, and it's learning how to communicate from this new place. Communicate from this new place of awareness within your relationships. Communicate within yourself, within yourself in a new way that is based on the integration of what you've learned from that time of integrating the subconscious, making the subconscious conscious. So like this wound right here, from the 3 of swords energy. There's a flip side to that. There's the flip side to that, because we see with the 3 of swords, after the 3 of swords, what do we get? We get letting go when we hit the 4 of swords. It's about letting go. It's about release. It's about rest. It's about being in a receptive space. It's about turning over. It's about sinking into that feminine openness, receptivity. It's where the creativity comes through. It's also where the nurturing comes through. It's where the healing comes through. And we see that coming in. Look at the olive branch here. I love this symbolism of this art piece and how it's so speaking perfectly to the energies in play right now. There's going to be a lot of healing of old wounds. And a lot of this work first happened within you. You accepted the pain, the awareness of what the loss was reflecting to you, your own patterns of attachment, the ways that you control, that you have a hard time just letting go, releasing, trusting, flowing rather than forcing. So this has been a big process. This has been a big process. And there's this healing that comes forward, and it comes through communication. There's going to be a lot of people connecting with the next cast of characters that's coming onto their path. And there are going to be some connections that are released. Everything is changing. Everything is changing. But there's new ways to move forward. And even in letting go, there's new ways in letting go, to let go with grace, to let go in such a way where it's harmonious and it feels good to be in a place of peace like that. You know, there's a lot of awareness coming in, a lot of awareness and awakening, but there are some very deep healings that are happening, and so much of this healing is happening in our relationships where maybe we held grudges, or there was a lot of blame present for the person on the other side. There's a lot of detaching from personalization and moving into that more expansive consciousness where you can see things from a different kind of perspective. You can get a different view. You can get a different view that um, is actually like it's the it's the meat of the alchemical process of, transformation, of rising up out of those kind of more base limiting emotions that are more stemming from a place of insecurity, feeling like you just have to have, containment around everything in your life, that you have to have things always go your way, and this attachment, that idea. Um, it's interesting because it's like there came a point where it felt too confining to stay in that space. The more that you dove into the deep subconscious work of this past cycle, this Pluto cycle that we've been through, the eclipses, all the time fumbling around in the dark and looking at aspects of yourself that maybe were difficult to look at, difficult to integrate. You realized how much you actually keep yourself held back, in check, limited, stagnating, by needing situations to look a particular way. You started to realize that the more you let go and the more you kind of just flowed with the way things went without resistance, the more that you actually found yourself elevating in a new way and stepping into a new potential inside of yourself. And so it's almost like there's this recognition of, yeah, I got this wounding, I got this grief, I've been through this pain, but look at what it awakened in me. Look at what came through. And, a lot of you are moving into a very creative phase. There's going to be so much creative expression coming through. You got stories locked inside you, you know, you got stories you want to sing. You got stories you want to dance. You got stories that you want to make music to, Um, you got stories you want to tell around the campfire and pass on down that knowledge and that wisdom like your ancestors did. And, today the ancestors are really front and center for me because we got, the whole Thanksgiving going on. And Thanksgiving is an interesting time for me. I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving. Um, I was thinking about, Sagittarius season, and I thought about, the arrow, and it made me think of my Comanche ancestors. And I love working with this wand, I just love the energy and the strength in it, the connection in it. It did come from uh, native land and was put together in a very respectful way, and it's a very special piece. But, today is usually a day that I spend in reflection and really dropping in with my ancestors and remembering. And so there's this piece coming up too with this energy about you may find as you're moving into this new moon cycle, even though there's such positive influence, there's actually some challenging influences in play as well. And that's kind of the final wrapping up and clearing out of your time in that Scorpio South Node. And it's, it's really front and center, this Scorpio energy too, because of the precession of equinoxes with the constellation that this whole astral action is happening in. It's all going down right on that cusp between Libra and Scorpio. Okay, so it is still very much a time of karma. Karma is weighing out. And we're going to start really seeing now that we're moving into the expansive phase, the results of our actions. Because that's all karma is. It's the results of our actions. Karma is also an action in and of itself. Karma means action, and everything we do is karma. Just inhabiting a body is karma. But there's a lot of important karmic cycles that are wrapping up. So there's a lot of this coming in, and you may find yourself having some old stuff come up. You may find yourself needing to do a little grieving. You may find yourself feeling emotional. You may find yourself doing a lot of reflecting back, feeling nostalgic, thinking about the good old days, and in particular in situations where you've been struggling with somebody, where you've been at odds with somebody, where you've had falling outs or challenges or things that needed to be worked through, or maybe you weren't so happy about the way things went down. There's something coming forward in this where this time of getting in touch with the emotions, that maybe you've held at bay a bit, maybe you've distracted yourself a bit. A lot of you have made yourselves like really busy, just busy, go, as a way to keep yourself sort of just disconnected from your emotions, what you've been feeling about things, because everything's been so mutable, right? It's like it's definitely like liquid life right now. You have to know how to flow with things. You can't get attached. The more you can detach, the better off you're going to be, because we're really moving into this expansiveness of this, only when we're looking at that Sagittarius expansion, it's like it's this watery energy in the same sense that it's formless, but it's more like that outer space energy. It's that ether kind of expansion. And it's funny because outer space is every bit as much sort of an alien realm as the ocean is, right? There's so much that we don't know about what's beneath the sea. And I love how this is mimicking, this whole liminal space we're in, the meat of the sandwich, and the liminal space comes in once more. In the space in between, it's like this creative space where so much is coming in, so much is happening, yet it's only happening on the inner levels, it's only happening in the downloads. But we're working with that subconscious energy, the water energy, that Scorpio South Node, and we're moving into that, the expansion of the Sagittarius energy that's going to help us step into our destiny and actually root our visions and our dreams in a very tangible way, and also manifest our karma, and the results of our karmic cycles. And some of these karmic cycles you were just born into this life with, that you have to, you need to go for another round, need to try to get it right this time around. If you're somebody who, prescribes to that belief in karma. Okay. But karma is just basically your work. You know, it's what you need to do when you're here in your life. And when you get it right, things align. You know, when you do the work, things align. Good things happen. Good things come in. So you know, it's all really positive. It's all really positive. Um, for the most part. But like I said, we do have to be aware that when we got all this expansion coming in with Jupiter, there's another quality that comes into play, and that's also, you know, Jupiter can be greedy, you know, in its shadow aspect. It can be a little ego-centered. It can be a little big for its britches. It can also be, you know, a tad selfish, you know, a little greedy. So these are themes that can come in too, because even though Jupiter is stationed direct, it's still retrograde. Okay, so we do have some, you know, some stuff to work through still. The astrology remains interesting, and it's just gonna keep getting weirder. Okay, for real, things are weird out there right now. They're weird. We're hopping into a whole new timeline. You know, things are going to be different. The way we move through time and space is going to be different from here on out. It's really true. You know, the old models don't work anymore. We got to ditch the old programming. We're really in a creative space right now. A lot of that has to do with communication and just how we're moving forward in general. A lot of communication stuff coming in, a lot of networking stuff coming in. And yeah, you know, that's great. And it's going to be really positive, but there's also going to be, you know, challenges that also come up in communications, and especially with people you're healing with or trying to work out, you know, kind of, you know, very set issues, you know, where there's been a lot of stubbornness involved, a lot of kind of push pull action. There's been so much of that over the past year. Yeah, you know, there's definitely going to be stuff that you're going to be bumping up against, even with these positive influences. And we do have some fixed star action. It's making things a little bit difficult too. Okay. It's good to know about the challenging aspects. We can't just look at like everything that's positive. I'm sure you've been hearing a lot like, oh, this is like such a big bless up, new moon. Everything's just going to be like, unicorns, shitting daisies, and lollipops and gumdrops, but it's not. It's not. It's not, you know. There is still some work to be done, but at least we can whistle while we work, okay? We can have some fun too. We can start to lighten up things a bit. We can start to connect with work that's more meaningful for us, work that excites us, that interests us. We can start diving into a lighter, brighter, more expansive time of life and feel like finally things are going to start to move forward, which is really wonderful. The challenging aspect comes from Jupiter aligning with a fixed star called Sheet, and I'm not kidding about that. And sheet brings a lot of sheet your way, man. Okay. Sheet brings a lot of sheet, a lot of bullshit. All right. It can bring a lot of misfortune. It can bring sudden losses. It can bring turns of fortune that are like that wheel of fortune, right? And this is where the karmic part of it comes in, because one minute you can find yourself up and the next minute you can find yourself down. And, you know, this kind of can play out for a while, and it's inevitable. All right. It's inevitable. This happens, you know. We can't expect our lives to be static. There's highs and there's lows, and they're all about, you know, just riding the wave and gaining the experience and gaining the knowledge from the times when you do hit the lows, you know, so you can rise higher the next time. But there's definitely that wheel of fortune action is going on. And, you know, there's this wild card energy where some people are going to deal with some reversals. Some people are going to have some things to clean up when certain things come to light, because it's a very much an exposing energy too, where what wasn't seen before, what was in the dark, or where there wasn't clarity, where there wasn't a way forward, where there wasn't an answer, all of that's going to start to become very crystal clear, very crystal clear. We also have the moon aligning with fixed star Yed Prior, which is in the constellation of Theacus. Okay. This is also a challenging aspect, right? This is also a challenging aspect. And there's so much going on with this. I did write some notes here because I didn't want to miss any of it. One of the big things in play with this is also the Alpha Scorpii influence. And it's in the heart of the Scorpion. Mercury and Venus are going to closely align with Antares, which is the rival of Mars. And we have Mars retrograde, right? So all of these influences combined. When you think of these energies, these fixed star energies, and how they are affecting the current astrology and the way they kind of counterbalance some of that positivity and expansion we get with the benevolent influences of Mercury, Venus, and Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter, of course, that trine energy. These influences are strong enough that they can neutralize a little bit of that. Okay, so there is also this need to be aware of looking at things as they are too. You know, now that you're rising up out of that shadow work, you don't want to be wearing your rose-colored glasses. You know, this is a very matter-of-fact kind of cycle. I mean, I want you to think about Sagittarius energy, right? Sagittarius is very matter-of-fact. Some say a little blunt, right? They say what's on their mind. They leave you no doubt about what they're feeling about a situation, okay? So we have this energy in play for sure. So if you look at the propensity here, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for expansion. There's a lot of opportunity for healing. There's a lot of opportunity for new beginnings and for, you know, things to turn on the drop of a dime and in the best way possible, you know, for things to really turn out positive. So the more you can focus your energy in that direction, you're better off, the better off you're going to be. But where you know you're going to be facing challenges, okay, where you know you're going to have tough communications coming up, where you know that you're going to have to deal with people that maybe aren't going to be the easiest, you know, emotional waters to navigate. Be prepared that there can be some challenges there. Be aware that there can be aggression. Be aware that if people are not able to move through things in a mature way, there can be aggression that becomes so out of control, it can lead to violence. It's also a very suspicious kind of atmosphere. That's this fixed star energy lends this kind of like very secretive, but also like kind of plotting, you know, kind of energy. It's very much a Seven of Swords, Page of Swords kind of influence if you want to kind of tap into like a tarot archetype for how this energy is playing out with the stars. And there's also the Nine of Cups kind of vibe in the mix. We have to remember with Nine of Cups, right? Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. And so people love that Nine of Cups card, but it's also very much a card of self-gratification. That can be looked at as instant gratification. And when in the reverse, in the negative, acting out of its shadow, it's about greed. It's about gluttony. It's about I'm aboard, pull up the ladder mentality, you know, like just only thinking of yourself. It's also be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. So there's still a need to remember as we're moving into the Sagittarius season and this new moon cycle, there's still this need to remember the lessons learned in the shadow and to not just abandon it and move into this, because the impulse is going to be like, wee, like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to like move into this more free kind of energy. I'm ready to get out there, get out and about, make things happen. I'm ready to head forward. You're going to be aligning with your path now. That's what this cycle is about. You're having illuminated for you what's coming up, what's around the bend, Um, and now you're going to get things going. Yeah, there might be some cleanup to do along the way. Some of you may be running into some rough stuff. Some of you may have some towers that need to fall on the real, but the more that you can move through these experiences and just trusting and letting go, then the more you move forward into alignment with where you're supposed to be and who you're supposed to find there and what the hell you're supposed to be doing once you get there. Okay. So just let yourself sink into the openness, the exploration of this period. Open your mind, drop your set ideas. Uh, Keep staying in touch with your energy. Keep noticing how you're energetically responding to things. Let your intuition guide you through 31 on the clock when I said that. That's double four energy. Double four energy is 8, okay? And 8, 8, 16, 7, that's blessing energy. Blessing energy coming in, and it's the blessing that comes in when we align with our purpose, the purpose of what we're stepping into now. And there's definitely full energy coming in. We're stepping onto a brand new path. There's that 6 of Wands energy is front and center too. There's the opportunity to really see how your efforts have paid off. Those of you who have been doing the work, like, you're going to get your reward, man. You're going to get your time to shine. You're going to get your time to be recognized for what you've created, what you've been pouring your energy into, what you've been investing in. And even if that's just been your personal growth and healing, like, it's going to be seen, it's going to be acknowledged, it's going to be manifest, and you're going to feel like you're really in this place of arrival, So there's this beautiful energy coming forward, and a lot of people will have big success moments. They're going to be getting their wins, they're going to be getting their flowers. It's going to feel really good. Just be aware, be aware and be mindful. Don't lose the lessons. Don't lose the lessons that you learn. Stay in touch with that temperance energy, where you can continue to kind of balance things out, alchemize things out. Move within this space of balancing things out as you prepare to really step into that expansion, and then you'll get things off on a really great foot. I really feel like we got that 8 of Wands energy in play, very much so. I feel like this year is really going to end with a bang. I think it's going to be quite the winter solstice, Winter solstice, once we hit that point in winter solstice, going to kick off really things coming to fruition. It's almost like a harvest time. It's like the return of the Sun King. It's like that's when the sun comes out. I'm really getting that for this year. Um, it's so interesting to me because normally we think of that time of winter being a time to rest and turn within and hibernate. I feel like it's opposite energy right now. I feel like it's opposite. It's like we're meant to really be building this light in the winter, and each of us are bringing forward our part of that light, and together that's like the Sun King being reborn. It's like we've all been moving through that dark moon energy together, and now we're stepping into that expansion, with this Sagittarius season, this new moon that's coming in, the lights getting turned on in the room. We're moving into that energy in a big way. So I feel like this is really just going to continue to build. It's going to continue to build as we move up to that winter solstice, and it's going to be a time when it's really going to bring the celebrations in. I really feel that. I think people will be surprised. some of the things that go down in this lunar cycle might look negative to you on the surface at first glance, okay? But when you get to the other side of it, you're going to understand that, um, life knows what it's doing. Life knows what it's doing. You're going to know that you ended up exactly where you needed to be. I do want to pull some cards, okay? But I wanted to make sure first that I light this candle, and I did charge up this candle. I charged it up with Reiki, and I wanted to hold space for your intentions, where you are looking to move into expansion in your life, where you are looking to grow, and set your intention, drop a comment, set your intention, bring your energy in. It doesn't matter if you catch this when this airs or if you catch it later, catch the replay, okay? It just put your energy into the mix, just drop a comment and state your intention for where you're ready to move into expansion in your life. What are you ready to step into now? We're going to call in the spiritual support for that. We're going to call in whatever that support is for you that you need, whether that's coming from your community, whether that's coming from your guides, whether that's coming from your God, your goddess, your higher consciousness, for things to start to align for you, for the synchronicities to show up on your path, to reveal your steps, to give you courage, give you strength, to do the letting go you need to let go, and to really get yourself into that place where you're ready. You're ready to receive and step into who it's time for you to be as you move into this next chapter. We're moving into a brand new cycle. And so this is just to call that light in so it can grow in each of our lives in the areas where we want to see that clarity come in, where we want to see that enlightening come in, where we want to see that growth, that recognition coming in. For me, I'll share my intention. For me, I got directive, like I got my guidance came in about my new direction and what I need to do. It has very much to do with a creative project, something I'm working on that's very close to my heart. And it requires huge risk on my part, and it's extremely uncomfortable and terribly vulnerable to bring this forward, and especially in the medium that I'm feeling called to do it in. All right. So it's a big step for me. It's a big commitment. And I recognize in taking this on, there's a lot of things I have to change, ways that I need to better show up for myself, ways I need to make sure that I'm taking time to nurture myself, um, focus I need to have, ways I do need to create structure where I do have the ability to have some control, set up my environment so it best supports me, and just really just get focused, really activate my fire and get focused and dive into this. So I'm holding that intention and lighting that for me, that I will have everything I need, come forward to support me in that, and the steps I need to take to bring this crazy thing into being that I never would imagine I'd be doing anything like this. But it's one of those cases where, like, when you get the call, you got to answer it. And that's where I'm at right now. And it's requiring me to move through a lot of my own shadow stuff that stems from childhood in ways I've made myself small or held myself back. And I'm ready to move into the expansion of just like letting it all be seen, and putting my heart out there, putting it all on the line in what I'm creating. So it feels really good too. So please, drop your intentions and bring them in. And I just want to hold some space for a moment. And I would also like to send some Reiki your way too. So if you do not wish to receive the Reiki, that's okay. You can kind of just like step away from the screen for a moment, okay? Because I only want you to, take it in if you want to receive it, but I feel like it will help us all connect our energy collectively and bring our energy into a nice circle to hold this intention. And if you would like to carry this intention forward with you, light a candle today or whenever you see this and just bring that light in to connect the energy. And it's just a beautiful way to build intention. And I have this set up in an offering bowl. Of course, I have my angel candle holder here. I work a lot with the angels, so I definitely have called them in on this one. I got Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, and I got Metatron on the scene, holding it down. So a lot of good energy being called in for the collective here. I have rose petals to hold that vibration of love. Rose vibrates with the highest frequency of love, and it just has such a beautiful, like silky, softening energy to help kind of soothe all those frayed edges, right? And then I have cinnamon for drawing in attraction, also, warming things up where things have gone cold, and also adding a lot of spice into the mix. Let's spice it up. Let's have some fun, okay? And it's also got a sweet quality to it to temper what's been bitter, all right? And I got some candied ginger. Candied ginger is really good for like getting things moving, but like in the best way and sweet ways, not like blockbuster, kind of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride sort of way, but more like really like cool opportunities coming your way, opening things up in kind of like a playground. Like, ooh, I have so many different options I can explore right now. Okay, it's kind of like bringing this energy into the mix. There's also an acorn in there to symbolize things that you plant now, these intentions that you set within these next 2 weeks. It may seem like it's a small thing now. You may not know how you're going to get there. You may not know how you're going to call this thing into being, but as you move through this expansion, you're going to see it can grow into something that really has roots, think of that, look at the tree, that rises from that acorn. Okay. So same thing. And then I had to bring in a little bit of some of the past stuff we've done with that pine cone energy, working with the pineal gland. So I'm also calling in awareness, activation of the inner vision to be able to see our way forward with clarity. So I'm just going to bring in the Reiki. So if you don't want to receive, just step away from the screen. Forty-four, 44 on the clock there. Beautiful energy. I'm going to light this candle, okay? And then we'll just pull a few cards, okay? Just get a little bit of a read. I feel like we already got a lot of information came in. That's quite a download on all the astrology. So hold that intention, okay? And lighting this flame, I call on the ancestors, the guides, our higher consciousness, Mother Goddess, Father God, Mother Earth, Father Sky, Great Spirit, totems, Wolf Totem, the Pathfinder. Help us stay connected to our intuition. Help us pick up the scent of the trail ahead. Help us find the way through the wood to the other side. I call on the guidance that you need, that we all need, the clarity, the strength, the resources, the support, the opportunities, the empowerment, the courage, the heart, the will, the drive, the passion, the purpose, the inspiration, the trust, the grace, the wisdom, the healing. It is so. Okay. The energy feels really good. I put some master key oil on that candle, and that's to help us tap into our psychic awareness, our intuition, to tap into our guidance, however you connect to that guidance, and to be provided the keys to open the doors we need to walk through now. So lots of really supportive energy coming in. And this really feels like the energy to me. You know, we got this like skull of flowers creating through the ashes. I saw this card earlier, and it really feels like it's holding the intention of what we're moving out of. We're moving out of that release energy into the flowering, you know. And it's going to be this beautiful opening process that occurs, but it's going to take some courage, you know. It's going to take some courage, and there is the necessity for us to let some things go and open ourselves up to new possibilities, to have some new hope, and be willing, you know, be willing to try again, you know, be willing to be open that things can be different, and that there can be something beautiful on the other side of the challenges that you've faced, and that there's something really great on the horizon for you. You know, let's remember Sagittarius is a very optimistic energy, okay? So tap into that. Be willing to go with where the enthusiasm is, and you're going to find it really blessing up your life in such wonderful ways. I'm going to go ahead and put the timestamps on here. Of course, afterwards, there was, you know, quite a bit of astro talk and just dropping in and all of that before you ever picked up the cards, you know, I just knew I wanted to drop in with all of you. I wasn't quite sure what wanted to come forward. I could really feel the energy, and I just wanted to bring something in. I feel like a lot of people have a hard time this time of year. You know, the holidays can be very difficult, and so it's nice to have places where we can connect and we can bring our energy together in positive ways and form like a community of support. You know, I think it's so helpful, so helpful. And like I was saying, you know, not everybody has an easy time with Thanksgiving. You know, some of us feel, you know, a real sense of grief on that day, you know. So it's good to have space where we can come together with an intention of healing in the community. It's very important. Okay, so we got these two cards here, and one is shadow and one is light. And what is shadow is Nine of Swords. Lurai causes great battles and wars, causes wounds to putrefy. Okay, this really makes me think of this I Ching hexagram, which is called coup, work on what has been spoiled. Okay, and it's when something has been just left to fester and sit around so long that it starts to just rot. It starts to rot. It starts to rot and stink up the joint. So this can be like grudge energy, you know? Um, this is being stubborn and just being like that emperor in reverse, okay? Holding the line so strongly with your position that you actually end up kind of pulling a little bit of what you fear to you with this. It's like a rabbit medicine projection, like fixating so much on the wound that you call that very thing that you're afraid of to you in order for you to like kind of learn your lesson about uh, how what you focus on, where you put your intention. It's important because it grows. It grows. It has a result. You know, you are the creator of your reality, and it's also important to recognize that this energy that we got in play with this lunar cycle is very much like love and war, or you could even look at it as all's fair in love and war. So this piece is really important, like where you do have things that you know you need to resolve, where there is cleanup work to be done, where you need to make peace with somebody. There's an important conversation to have, or you know, you just maybe need to just like let it go. Maybe you just need to just let it go. Maybe you do need to end a connection. Maybe you do need to walk away. Maybe you do need to block that person. Where you do have work that you feel like you need to do, then it's important that you address it. Don't let it sit and fester, because it's just going to make things worse for you. And you're going to keep yourself tied up in knots. You know, it's going to be nothing but a burden and a stress. You need to transform this energy. A lot of it has to do with love, okay? Like I said, there's going to be a new cast of characters coming in, and soul family is being connected, and soul mates are being connected too. There's this reunion energy. And that reunion, when I say reunion, it doesn't necessarily mean like this is somebody you were involved with in the past. It can be, but it also can be just your soul family, like people coming in that it feels like a reunion. There's soul recognition. There's important connections coming in. So this is lovers, joy of God, joy and pleasure, brings happiness to couples, removes negative energy. So this is what's on offer, okay? This is what we have the opportunity to step into. We're going to see a lot of expansion in our relationships, a lot of healing in our relationships, a lot of healing first within us, and then it extends and it's manifest in the relationships we have with others. But you got to be willing to stop like nursing the wound and like focusing on the pain and holding a grudge and wanting to blame. It's almost like there's this need to like clean the slate. And however you need to clean that slate, whatever you need to do to clean that slate, you need to get to it, you know? This would be a great time right now, you know, to clean that slate. Maybe with that great black conjunction occurring on November 30th, you could do some kind of release ritual. That would be really powerful. Just releasing your old identity, releasing you know, your attachment to a particular situation, or releasing a negative belief or a habit, whatever it is, you know, whatever is keeping you from that place where you can really open up into the expansion of love and connection, you know, and communicating from your heart and moving into that place of intimacy and exploration, expansion through relationship. Okay. There's really the opportunity for some powerful growth to happen in relationships and for it to be a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. Like I said, there's a lot of supportive energy on deck, but it requires that you move out of your fear and understand that when you're having challenges in relationships, this is a lot of what's coming up. You know, it's fear. It's the fear that keeps us locked in these same old thing, different day, you know, kind of scenarios in our relationship. Okay. You're getting the opportunity to break through that, to get to the other side of that. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to stop nursing the womb. You know, it's like there's this need to stop looking at it so much. You know, you've spent so much time there. It's time to start focusing on the light. We got Knight of Swords energy, but it's in reverse. Okay. Air sign collective, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Taurus. Destroys and burns all enemies when requested, speaks of the creation of the world, tells of the past and future. Okay. You know, I think a lot of the air sign collective might be feeling like raging for order. You know, they might want to see some people, you know, take accountability. It hasn't necessarily been an easy time for air sign collective. Air sign collective has been dealing with quite a bit, you know, quite a bit, and navigating some dicey terrain. All right. Air sign collectives also been dealing with a lot of interference in their situations, a lot of frenemy kind of situations. We do have Libra front and center with what's going on with the astrology. Still remains a very important influence in this cycle. And when we're looking at Libra, we're looking at open enemies. Okay, Libra rules over open enemies, so there is still this energy in play, and there's the need not to be like, not be so quick to jump the gun, not be so quick to like make things even, you know, or you know, move into that space where you want to, you know, get revenge, or you want to see somebody get their just desserts. There's a need to like let this go, man, and trust. We see that, you know, what needs to be corrected, what needs to be preserved, what needs to be healed, both coming up in the light. It's all taken care of, and what needs to be preserved is going to be preserved, and what will be preserved is what is aligned for you, what is meant for you. But we see you arriving in this place of the Four of Wands. This is celebration, you know, this is celebration. It's arrival, you know, it's coming to a place where you really feel you have a new start, a new foundation, you know, something you can really stand on. So there's something that comes out of this. Don't let this shit distract you, because it's just a distraction. Yeah, maybe you did deal with sabotaging energy, okay? But if you get focused on this, you're going to get distracted, and then you're not going to be able to drive this thing home that you've been pouring your energy into. Follow through, air sign collective, okay? Follow through for your manifestation, because you're going to start looking out on the horizon and you're going to see a whole new way forward. We got Two of Wands, Jaleel, the helping God. Love and wisdom, victory over those who would attack you. You see, you're being looked out for, air sign collective. Like, your celebration is assured. So don't even bother with this. Let it go. Trust that what needs to happen is going to happen. And you know, when I'm speaking of the signs, that's any strong placement. I'm going to do one final cut of the deck energy. We got Two of Pentacles. Amen. Reveals the past and the future, reconciles friends and enemies. So think about that. Okay, a little tricky, a little trickster medicine there, right? Perfect way to end here. Reconciles enemies. That's like your riddle to sit with. Okay? Because there's a lot of meanings to that. Reconciles enemies. Be careful about that. Okay.